So I wrote my will. I started now making my peace with God. If there's anything that is still whatever, let's sort it out. I'm coming. So when I came back to Nairobi, we agreed with my sister, let's first go to the pathologist and just ask now details.
Okay, pathologist being
now the lady who did the biopsy.
Okay.
Yeah, they're the ones who work in the lab and do all the samples and whatever. So when I got back, we made an appointment, then we went to see her. So her first question is, I've been wondering where you are. This thing is so serious. You need to start treatment. I'm like, but the doctor said I can go and come back in a month. She said, actually, that doctor, he has a number of cases in court, malpractice. So let me give you a list of doctors you go and see. But she told me, you have cancer, it's stage 3, and it's very serious. You have to start something. You have to do something now. I said, okay. So she gave me a list of 5 doctors. So we started like one after another. Doctors are very callous, some of them. So most of them would be like, yes, so you come, I book you in the hospital, we cut it off, then start chemotherapy. Remember, all this is still strange to me. I'm like, I know. Then we go to the next one. Like, all of them were like that. There's one I asked, so now after you cut it, what happens? So you just put a sock or something on it. What's the problem? That's how they were talking. So the final 2, the last 2, there was one who, he was like, he's the first one who talked to me like, okay, yeah, so this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do. Then I went to see now the final one. He told me, step number 1, in fact, I loved his whatever, he told me, step number 1, we do full battery of tests from head to toe. So at first we find out if this thing has traveled, and then now we sit and agree what to do. I'm going to send you to a surgeon, go see him right now, then now it'll be a team, we'll sit down and we'll discuss. I was like, this now feels normal, this feels good. They're not treating me like, because I'm being, do you want to die or live? So you do what I told you. These ones were like, now we'll come, we agree. And I saw the surgeon, then now we made an appointment now for the 3 of us. So we came, we sat, and they told me, okay, now they sent me first for the test.
For the tests,
so I did different tests, blood work, x-rays, bone scans, kila kitu. So then when all the results...
And all this time you're under health insurance?
No. What used to happen is that the company I was working with at the time would pay part of our bill, and then you'd cover the rest.
Okay.
So...
so this is cash now going? And is it expensive?
Yes, it's very expensive. It's very expensive.
I mean, even the tests alone?
Even the tests alone, yeah.
Okay.
So then we sat and they told me, when they did the test, they said it had traveled to my lymph nodes.
What's that?
The lymph nodes are the things that help move fluid back and forth from your arm. And like they're like a sieve in your system. So they also had gotten some of the of the cancer cells. So they said we also have to remove, because you have like, were they 9, if I remember correctly? So you said probably the first 3, you remove those ones and then check if the rest have. If they do, you need to remove a few more until you get to now clean ones. The surgeon decided he wants to try do a lumpectomy, which is just remove the lump and some clean tissue around it, as opposed to a mastectomy, which is total removal. But the agreement was, if we try that and it doesn't work, then I have to agree to do the mastectomy. But he said, let me first see if we can save your breast. So I was agreeable, obviously. So they agreed, okay, first what we'll do, they'll give me 4 cycles of chemo.
Okay.
To try and shrink the lump, so that what they're removing is as little as possible.
And what is chemo?
So chemo is a mixture of poisons, call it, that are supposed to kill all the fast-growing cells in your body. Cancer is a fast-growing cell. It's actually we all have cells, but then some go crazy, and sometimes nothing comes of it. Other times they go crazy to the extent now they mutate into cancer. So when they give you chemo, they're killing all the fast growing cells in your system, which is also your pigment, your hair, your, like, that's why you see people changing when they start going on chemo, when they go on chemo. And then in the process, they're trying to clean out also any cells that are, any cancer cells. So I said, we'll do that first, shrink the lump as much as we can, then do the lumpectomy, and then you finish your cycles. They had prescribed 6 at the time. So what you do is you go, they mix these dawas, put them through your vein, goes in, you can smell it from the inside. It's so weird. But it goes through your vein, killing all the cells. Then you wait 3 weeks, come back for another dose.
Is it painful?
No, it doesn't hurt.
Okay.
At least mine didn't hurt. What was a problem was now trying to get veins, because my veins are very small. So that was crazy. And then eventually you start seeing your vein. You can see black. Like this one has never changed. It's still black. Then you start seeing your palms turn black. Like this side was the same color as this. Your nails turn black. Hair fell off.
Okay, so now you did the first session of chemo.
I did the first session of chemo.
Then
I was like, oh, it wasn't so bad. I went home. I was like, okay.
And you haven't told your dad?
No, I went back to work actually. No, by this time I had told him. We had to tell him before. But I was like, because I'd learned when you're okay, whoever you're talking to, they get their cue from you. So when we're telling him, I was strong that day.
And of course you've told work because they're paying.
I've told work. I've told my boss. But then now by the time my hair fell now, we had to tell people.
So when did your hair start falling, like after the second treatment?
After the second one. And now this one is now when I started feeling the effects. So I did it, and then I went back to work. But then a day or so later, I just started feeling so weak and just so finished. Then I had beautiful long hair. Combing your hair, you find a lot. Okay. It's coming off on the comb. Because it was a lot, I knew how to panga it, so I hide it.
But this must have psychologically worked on you that, oh my God, I have cancer.
Not yet.
Or not yet?
Not yet. It was still like there's a disease and I'm treating it. I don't know, there's some part of me that was switched off. Until one day, I woke up in the morning and I was combing my hair and I felt a big patch here. And I knew now there's no way to hide. That's when I broke down. That's when I realized I have cancer. So I told my sister. So she told me, you go to work. So I fungered, I don't know what. She told me, you go to work. When you come back, we'll talk. So my brother-in-law suggested, rather than keep waiting for it to keep, let me just shave it. That's the day now. Now I knew. I'm sick. So he shaved my head off. And I started wearing a wig. I wore it for a few whatevers. Then I got uncomfortable with it. So I started walking around like that.
Have you told your kids at this time?
Not yet.
But they're seeing you bold. I might say it's fashion. You're done.
Well, one of them, because I used to wear the wigs, and then one day I decided enough. So I remember coming home, I was in the car and my kids came in, to meet me. Then one of them, because I didn't have the wig on now, the older one, he was like, Mommy, you've become a boy. Because now even then, they used to have, I used to shave their hair very close. So I laughed. But then now, when I started now feeling more of the effects of cancer, I sat them down and I told them, I'm not very well, but I'm going through.
How old are they at this time?
They're 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So I told them, but the doctor is taking care of me. Sometimes I might have to sleep in hospital, but I'll be fine. And you're here with your uncle and auntie and your cousins. And, you know, everything is fine. So then I went on with the treatment. And I think when it hit them, because they never asked me questions, except that one question about being a boy. But there are times I'd be in my room and they open the door quietly and they go and stand at the door. Just stand there for a bit and then they take off. Don't say anything. That sadness had come back now. They knew there was something very wrong.
And have you gotten thinner? Are you weak?
I'm starting to lose weight. I've become dark. I don't eat much because food has no taste. So eating is a problem. But at the doctor's place, one of the nurses, she was very nice. She took me through the whole thing. She said, "Don't worry about food. Just try and, if you feel like eating, eat. If it's chapo, eat. Don't listen to people who tell you, oh, only eat vegetables, whatever. Eat whatever you're feeling at that time, because you need something in your body to work against to clean out the whatever. And drink as much as you can, whatever, tea, water, whatever. Once you're through with your treatment, then now you can now say, okay, I'm going to start now eating. But right now, you just need to be able to eat, because if you keep pangaing, I'll wait until I'm able to eat vegetables and whatever. You might never get there.
How many cycles did you go back for? How many did you first do?
So I did 4 first. And then they said, okay, it shrunk enough. Meanwhile, I'm working, so I do, then I go to work. Then like as much as I can, I wanted to just keep on with life. Rather than sit at home and get depressed.
Mentally, that was good for you.
Very good for me. It made my colleagues very uncomfortable. I didn't get to find out until later.
I was going to even ask that. You know, with Corona right now, Yani, if you hear somebody that you know has had Corona,
you're like,
I don't care whether you're well or not. Like, there's stigma. Let's just say it.
Yeah.
Did you get stigma?
Oh yeah. Even from church. I remember somebody telling me that they read me the nini about these parents who are being asked what how does it go, but what they had done to cause their son to be sick. So like, there's something you must have done. You need to ask for repentance.
What?
So that God can have mercy on you. And then there was also this, you know, I have this product. If you take it. And then there were others who don't take. In fact, the minute they cut into you, that thing will be all over your body. So I have a sijui who with some concoction. Let me bring for you. As I told of a place in Uganda, some women sijui what. Interesting thing. A month before I was diagnosed, I had a dream. I mean, I don't do those things, I didn't used to do those things. And I saw myself in a hospital bed. And my family was around me. And a month later, I was diagnosed with cancer. So for me, that I felt that was like I needed to do conventional treatment. And in fact, at the time I said, I will do conventional. If you bring me there were things that they were marketing. I'll drink, you know. Or you had which vegetable, bring, you know. So I'd do whatever I need to do. I just want to get sick, but I can't say, because I didn't feel like that's what God had wanted me to do. I believed that dream was, this is a path.
This is the path, yeah.
Go. And so I went ahead with it and I did the treatment. So I did 4, then I did, then they did the lumpectomy. They went in. What they do is they cut off the lump and then cut off surrounding tissue, because they're hoping now as they check the edges, they'll know, okay, now we've reached clean stuff. Now we just continue with the treatment. If they find there's a corner, which like they did with mine, there's a corner that had a bit of disease, they go and cut a little bit more there. Now, when they took the sample to the lab, somebody dropped it. And the doctor had marked and said, this is the, like, here it is. It's like this, yeah? So this is the top right-hand corner. This is what, this is what. When it went to the lab, it was dropped. So now the markers went.
Oh, man.
So he came and told me, okay, there are two options. Either we just go ahead and just do the mastectomy, or I cut another margin. So I told him, just do the margin. So he did it. Then he took that one and that one. He went with it and sat there and said, okay, check. And actually that one they sent to South Africa. And he came back, they said, okay, now the margins are clean. Then as I was recuperating and they were doing these other tests, he found that the nodes he removed, all of them were diseased, which meant now he needs to go. So I went again, but this time now just for the armpit. But when he went in, they were all clumped together, so he had to remove all the nodes. So I don't have lymph nodes on this side.
And how do nodes help? What are they in the human body?
What happens, you may have seen people whose arms are swollen, like an arm is like really, or they're wearing a compression, whatever. It's because that fluid is not moving in and out. So it goes in and it gets stuck. So you have to manually remove it. And the thing is, once you get, it's called lymphedema. Once you get it, you're stuck with it for life. It will never go. So your arm remains like that. So you have to just keep manually removing or compressing or whatever. I don't know if I have a new set of lymph nodes. My arm has never swollen.
What?
But I don't have any. They were all removed. So I don't know what's going on, but God has done some.
That's crazy.
So then I finished with that and I was done with my surgeries. So they said, okay, we'll give you about 3 weeks to heal. Then now we continue with the chemo. So when I went for the next chemo, the wound opened. So they're like, we can't continue. We have to first get this to close. And then my doctor was worried because he was like, has it opened because the cancer is still there or has come back? Or why is it not healing? So now we don't know what's going on.